Hi, my name's Jorden.
My name is David.
And we're the Doodys. We're a collaborative team that's been working together for over 20 years.
Yeah.
I was born and raised in Kelowna, and I'm now presently working with UBC and teaching fine arts.
And I was born outside of Kelowna, but grew up in Kelowna, and am teaching with UBC as well.
David and I have been working on muraling for the last 4 years in a large-scale way. David and I are the co-founders of the Uptown Mural Project that we've been running. We have, how many murals do we have now up there?
20, in Rutland, there's 23 murals.
23 murals in Rutland.
Now, we didn't paint all those.
No, but we
brought them all in.
Exactly.
Yeah, we brought artists from all over Canada and local artists to produce these murals.
Yeah, so we have an open art gallery up in Rutland, and then David and I both been working at UBC with the mural class for the summer sessions, and we've painted 3 murals with the students at UBCO. And because we're so immersed in the mural world, it's been really exciting to create a sculpture/mural. For this exhibition.
Yeah, like a mural object.
It's a mural object, yeah. And so we've been sculpting as well for years. And it's really exciting to be able to combine our painting and our sculpting practices as one in this really specific spot.
We started with the idea of a fountain space, and then we kind of worked back and forth with a bunch of different sketches and ideas. What's interesting is it's a sculpture and a painting, but it started as a digital graphic. So when we first approached the making of the piece, once we had an idea of where we were going, we started playing with Photoshop and using Photoshop as kind of a space where we could change things. So it's really easy when you're in a collaborative conversation about making art, you have an idea and then you share it, and then the other person adds something to it or changes it. So Photoshop is one of those places where collage gets really flexible. So we were able to play with a lot of different images, and what we did was we took like images of all kinds of different sculpture pieces that we had and paintings that we had been working on, and started kind of putting those in there to kind of get a sense of how would we occupy or
how would we envision
us, our kind of flavor in the space.
Color palette was definitely very important.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
Keep it bright and happy.
And then, so then once we had this kind of image going back and forth with Photoshop, and we found something that really kind of had that tension or kind of that excitement in it from our kind of sketch work, we were like, okay, this is where we're gonna try and build a model from this digital mock-up. For this piece, The Wishing Well, we definitely were inspired by like the West Coast, like Los Angeles culture, like skateboarding, surfing, like really into the aesthetic of vaporwave. So one thing with The Wishing Well is I always find that now that I'm looking at it, that it's done, I always think of like the mall in the early 90s. It's like the fountain in the plaza of the mall, and everybody goes and like flips a coin and makes a wish, right? And that was one of the ways that we came up with the name Wishing Well, was through brainstorming and like, well, what do we want people to do when they're in the courtyard? It's like, well, we want them to feel like they're bringing like a positive energy out into the world, and they're like maybe thinking about something that they would love, or they want to be positive about or uplifting, and it's like making a wish and flipping a coin, and it's kind of a fun and exciting, experience to have. And we just really wanted to kind of share that with our viewers. Yeah.
The romanticism.
Yeah, there is a real romanticism on the culture, like West Coast culture too, or luxury culture, or pool culture, or leisure culture.
Leisure culture.
Yeah, I think leisure culture is really important.
Yeah.
Inspiration. And I think that also ties back to the Courtyard too, because that idea of leisure, relaxation, contemplation, positivity, well-wishing, like to wish well, not only in a wishing well, but to try and cultivate and manifest, a positive vibe, and it's kind of a philosophical kind of thing to try and do with your work and your life. It's like you put energy towards trying to put colors together that might inspire positivity. Our work is really very often hoping to just spark a little bit of joy.
Spark and some joy.
Yeah, spark and joy.
But, you know, our work has been, you know, it plays on pop culture a lot. Like,
yeah, sorry.
no, that's
And
okay.
I was just going to say also, like, there was kind of like major visual references in art were kind of David Hockney, pool paintings of Los Angeles kind of idea, and then the Lobros, like a street art collective of two partnerships similar to us that whose aesthetic we've always really enjoyed. I mean, we're also image makers and art makers in a post kind of digital era. Not like the digital era is over, but it's really, you know, we watched in our lifetime, we watched the rise of digital culture kind of flood and surround everything that we do in every part of our lives. And that's been really interesting. I think it's really affected what kind of inspires us visually as well. So the idea that, you know, we're seeing a lot of these inspirations and these ideas are coming through screen culture is kind of interesting, because when we decided to make the piece, we also did a digital drawing, like I mentioned earlier, like a Photoshop sketch. And then, so we actually made a sculpture based on a digital graphic. So we made a digital graphic, and then we brought that painting to life, and then in bringing that painting to life, it was a sculpture, which took a huge amount of engineering to kind of just bring it together. I mean, huge amount of engineering for us. I mean, maybe not for an engineer, but this piece really pushed out. It's like, I mean, we're just two people who really like to make art and put a lot of time into it. And it's like, you know, whether we've done this or done that, it's not that so much, but we really like to try and challenge ourselves with what we can accomplish based on what we've already tried. So this piece is new direction, kind of merging a couple different ideas that we've been working with, and we really wanted to try and challenge ourselves. So it's the biggest single object we've ever made. It's, you know, not the biggest painting we've ever made, but it's the biggest painted object. So it's kind of this, we've been playing for the last couple of years with this idea of like installation in painting. Like when you look at an image, your mind kind of walks into the piece and kind of navigates it. And then when you see a sculpture, it's kind of like you're not virtually doing it, you're really doing it. But it's the idea of taking an image or a painting that's based on two-dimensional graphics with fake depth and with fake perspective and kind of pseudo perspective or whatever, and then making those things become real environments.
Yes.
I think one of the things that we're really hoping the sculpture or the installation, the work, the painting, the mural object, the wishing well is an invitation, a really open invitation, like a big smile to viewers to engage. The idea that there are so many boundaries and so many kind of rules around art engagement and public art and how people view and see art, it's really exciting for us to take an opportunity to kind of maybe push some of that away a bit and kind of clear the space for people to kind of engage with the work. So we wanted to make a work we really pared it down. We really kind of, over the process of developing the work, we really kind of clipped off as much as we could so that it was really a simple, resonant piece, so that there was lots of room for questioning what the work is about when you look at it. But it also is really obviously colorful. It's really obviously playful in a lot of ways. And its shape and size really, I think, we're hoping, the shape and size of the piece invites people to actually come in and kind of break down that barrier between the viewer and the artwork as kind of this magical object and an ordinary person, rather that the art becomes extraordinary when it's engaged with by your imagination.
I'm really hoping to witness some performances, perhaps, that are spontaneously combusted out of people.
Yeah.
When they see the work, I want them to get up and sing, or get up and take photos, or lie down, or roll around. I just really want people to feel like that good energy that makes them feel free.
Yeah, and I think that's like the idea of well-wishing or wishing well towards the community. I think it's a really interesting time to be making public work or work in public spaces where people were just coming back after 2-3 years of, kind of being closed off from a lot of things. And we have this, I think, a general desire as a community to kind of be
Interact.
alive, interact,
Yeah.
touch and feel in a way. So I think the idea of making a sculpture that people can not only touch but climb on, lie on, really just get their teeth into, it really, it's kind of, I guess, touching on my own desire to kind of grab life again,
Yeah.
grab the world and just kind of be part of it. And so, I think that's definitely something I'm hoping that the viewers take away as well, is this, that we're responding to our own desire for the lust for life